Welcome to our August 24, 2021 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. At this time, I'd like Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Reynolds, Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Botkin.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite my friend Joe Wood from Vineyard Church up to lead us in a word of prayer. Appreciate you being here, buddy.
All right.
It's great to see you.
Counted an honor to be here, man. I was sitting there thinking that when you came over and greeted me, it's like, how long have I been here? It's like, well, we planted the church 12 years ago yesterday. Yeah. It was like somehow the busyness, a birthday goes by, and it's like, wow. But thank you for what you do. Thank you for serving, all of you. And like I said, we count it an honor to pray for you. Let's just pray. Father, as we come before you right now, we want to bow our heads before you as elected officials. We come asking wisdom. How do we lead this county? How do we lead these people? How do we dream dreams and see visions and think about the future? That's what we're asking this morning. We just ask and pray that your spirit would abound here. We just ask and pray that you would speak to our hearts. And as we move forward, God, pray that you'd bless these proceedings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thanks, Joe. Sheriff, if you will, at this time, lead us in a pledge.
If you would please stand, face our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thank you, Sheriff. Court members, we've had a chance to look over our previous fiscal court meeting minutes. It was our August the 10th meeting. At this time, I need a motion and a second to approve.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. We normally have our treasurer's report at our fourth Tuesday of the month meeting. We've had a few technical difficulties with our credit card machines, and we're not going to be able to present that today. As soon as Gwenna gets everything reconciled, she'll send that out to the fiscal court members so you can review it, and then she'll present it at our next fiscal court meeting.
Makes me a little nervous, Judge. That's the same thing my wife says.
Well, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. We got a good team at the helm of that. Our first order of business today is second reading of Ordinance 2021-14. This is a zone change at 3276, 3278, 3280, and 3292 Lexington Road.
Morning, everybody.
Hi, buddy.
Just to remind everybody, this is an ordinance of Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, approving the zone change of 3276, 3278, 3280, and 3292 Lexington Road, and authorizing the amendment of the official zoning map of Madison County, Kentucky. This is the second reading, so I won't read the whole ordinance, but I will remind the court of the findings of fact from the Planning Commission's recommendation. Number one, that the proposed zoning classification is appropriate as it is consistent with the comprehensive plan for the following reasons. A, the character and area of the property due to the continued residential and commercial development in the urban corridor where new development is encouraged. And B, that the PUD, the planned unit development, of which this would be the first approved in Madison County, are an encouraged form of development in the urban corridor on properties that possess the proper infrastructure and other characteristics as this property does. And C, there have been major changes of an economic, physical, and social nature within the area involved, which were not anticipated in the adopted comprehensive plan, which have substantially altered the basic character of such area based upon the continued growth within the urban corridor and the provision of sewer to that area. This is, again, it's currently zoned urban corridor, interstate commercial, and urban corridor, single-family residential. This zone change would change all of the property to UC 11, which is planned unit development.
All right. Thanks, Bert. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the second reading of Ordinance 2021-14?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
But there's, Bert, there's 4 different address numbers there. That's all one.
It's all one tract of land.
One tract.
It's all one tract of land, but it's got multiple zonings on the same tract.
Okay. But there's not multiple units of residency on that tract.
There's more than one residence on it currently, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
I think-
all owned by the same person.
Yeah, it's all the same piece of land, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think that that piece of property over the years has been kind of different things. I think one time they used to have mobile home sales there.
Sales and the
There
Pay
was
Lake.
Pay Lake, and there was
Yeah.
some residential,
Right.
couple maybe residential homes, yeah, over the years.
We haven't had any calls on this, nobody, since the planning commission meeting and since the first reading, I've not had any calls on it.
You know, Judge, 6 years ago, we took a look at some property that we had an idea that might come to something like this at some point in time, and this being the first one in Madison County, I'm excited to see how it turns out, so.
I think you might see, I've took some calls since this has been talked about of some other properties, people inquiring, so I think people have kind of said, hey, this might be a piece of property to do something like that on. So you might see some more of it.
Yeah.
The city's already doing this kind of
The
thing.
city already does this, yeah. And we've had this in our regs for 15 years, it's just nobody's ever tried to do it yet.
Well, and I think, you know, we've said for quite some time that once the Boonesboro interchange got completed and widened
Right.
and sort of dispersed all that high traffic that was out there and back up, that
And
you
the
would
sewer-
see
sewer plant out
sewer
there.
plant there, that you'll start seeing growth. So we're just thankful that somebody has a vision there
Right.
to help us grow. So I think it's good. Is there any other discussion? This is a second reading, which is for public comment. Anybody here that wants to speak on behalf of this development, this would be the appropriate time that you would come up and speak. We did not have any kind of comments or on our email or any kind of phone calls or anything, so, Preston.
Just this time, Preston Worley on behalf of the applicant. I think Bert's handled everything, but we're here to answer questions or provide any more information if you need.
If the court needs it, feel free, we can have Preston come up, but if everybody's good,
We're good.
okay. All right. So if there's no more discussion, and there was no public comment at this time, call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thank you all. Somebody say something?
Comment.
Hmm.
Transparency.
Yes, we're good. We're good. Next, Resolution 2021-92, Kentucky Waste Tire Management Program Grant. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Court. Madison County Fiscal Court, Madison County, Kentucky, Resolution 2021-92. A resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to enter into an agreement with the Kentucky Division of Waste Management for the 2021 Waste Tire Management Program. Whereas the Kentucky Division of Waste Management provides funding through the Waste Tire Management Program for waste tire removal and disposal, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, desires to participate in the 2021 Waste Tire Management Program, and whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the 2021 Waste Tire Management Program Agreement with the Kentucky Division of Waste Management. And whereas Madison County will hold the 2021 Waste Tire Collection Event on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of October 2021 at the Road South location, 208 Clarksville Lane, Richmond, Kentucky. And now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorize the Judge Executive same on behalf of to sign on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Scott. At this time, do I have a motion and a second for Resolution 2021-92?
Motion approved, resolution 2021-92, Judge.
I second that.
So I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Scott, do you want to,
How much money do we get for that?
well, this is actually, well, I'll let Scott, you've been in meetings with the Transportation Cabinet. I know every 3 years, I think it is, the state actually hosts a tire amnesty day, which used to be just on a Saturday.
Yes.
But that has all kind of changed. So why don't you go into a little bit more detail for the court?
They started something new this year, and they required all of us to come to Frankfurt and have a meeting. And always in the past, this does happen every 3 years. This is not exclusive to Madison County. Any surrounding county can bring tires to our event. The last collection we had, we collected around 20,000 waste tires. This year, unlike others, I asked for 2 locations. Larry always wanted a location in the south, and it was always held at the State Road Department on 25. So they were unable to do that this year due to staffing shortages. So I met with them at Clarksville Lane, and we're just gonna have one localized, convenient location for both the south parts of the county and the north. So it'll just be one location, but we will do it 3 days. So it'll be Thursday and Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it'll be Saturday from 8 a.m. to 3. And anyone in the county can bring any type of tire that they have. They actually can bring them this year on the rim. So any tire that you have need disposed, please bring it and we'll collect it. We'll have, they have a contractor there to load the tires. We will unload them for them. They will load the tires and dispose of them at no cost to the county.
Good.
And this is not any kind of dealers though, correct?
No dealers,
Yeah,
and
no.
they will be monitoring. They will have a monitor there this year, and if an excessive amount is brought in on one load, they will ask them a series of questions. And no dealers or garages or anything like that. It must be individuals or farmers or
Right.
someone in the need, just, you know, to dispose of tires instead of getting them into our creeks and streams.
Well, I noticed just over the last couple of years since we had these events a couple of times that, you know, you used to see them just thrown outside the roads everywhere. But since we started doing these events, you see less and less of that, and that's a good thing, so.
Well, something else Judge Taylor done a couple of years ago is we reached out to the state, and he's able to secure us some funding where they have gave us supplemental funding every year. So we don't have to wait the 3 years. So I've kind of got the word out, and I've advertised it, and anyone that has a tire they need disposed of, please bring it to the road department. We'll take it anytime, no questions asked. And that's, I think that's what's keeping them off the roadsides.
It's good. Good deal.
And we do that program every year.
Every year,
And then
yes.
every 3 years, you have this program that the state actually partners with us on, so it's really good for our community, for
That's
sure.
correct.
So, and obviously it's utilized. I mean,
Yes, yes.
I mean, how many tires did you say we collected 3 years ago? 20
3
something?
years ago was 20,000.
20,000
And
tires.
on the average of our yearly money, I think we've been able to secure like $7,500, and we've spent all of that each year.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. Good work, Scott. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-92. All right. Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Next, Resolution 2021-93. This is a road adoption on Serenity Way. This is in Serenity Acre subdivision. Mr. Willie Willis.
Morning.
Good morning, buddy.
Madison County Fiscal Court, Madison County, Kentucky, Resolution 2021-93. Resolution for Madison County Fiscal Court to adopt roadway for county maintenance. Whereas Madison County Fiscal Court would like to adopt the following roadway for county maintenance, and whereas the road is described as follows. Road name Serenity Way, 2,287 feet long by 20 feet wide, curb and gutter street with cul-de-sac. Whereas the road has been inspected by the Madison County Road Supervisor and is recommended for adoption. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Willie. At this time, do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-93?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2021-93.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Are they finished building in there with
They're finishing the last house now.
last house now? This is in Paul's district. It's about
Yes, it is.
It is.
quarter mile down from Herndon Lane. It's a
Yep.
really nice subdivision, so it's good.
Is it below the animal shelter there?
That's on
It's on Old 25.
It'd be on
Oh,
Old
okay.
US 25. Yeah.
Down from Herndon Lane,
Yeah.
between Herndon
On the
and
other
Barker.
side, okay.
Yeah.
Don't be down that way.
It is a nice development. And the developers are here today, so appreciate y'all being here.
Good.
as
You've
well.
done a good job out there.
Thank you.
So, any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, call the roll.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Burger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Willie. Next, Resolution 2021-94. This is God's Outreach Food Bank Expansion Project. Glenna,
Good morning.
good morning.
Resolution 2021-94, a resolution authorizing payment for Madison County God's Outreach Food Bank Expansion Project, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has been awarded Community Development Block Grant funds from the Commonwealth of Kentucky in the amount of $300,000. And whereas during the period from August 1st, 2020 through August 1st, 2021, the attached expenses have been incurred. Whereas the expenditures of all funds is in compliance with the rules and regulations, financial management policies, and OMB circulars of various funding agencies, including the Kentucky Community Block Grant Program and the state of Kentucky. Now therefore be it resolved that the following debts be paid in full upon receipt of the CDBG funds as drawn down from the Kentucky Department for Local Government. Invoice number 4 to CETA, line item CDBG RFP number 515, administration for $4,000. And invoice number 4 to Grants Excavating, line item CDBG RFP number 5K construction for $50,000. Be it further resolved that all expenditures have been documented and recorded and are authorized for drawdown from the Commonwealth of Kentucky in compliance with all state, federal, and local regulations.
All right, thank you, Glenna.
And this does close out that God's Outreach
Yeah.
program,
Yeah,
project.
finishes that project. Do I have a motion and a second for Resolution 2021-94?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion?
So, Glenda's already said.
What's
Does
up?
this- Does this take all the, grant money that was available for them?
Yes.
We spent everything in?
Yes, we spent the full.
So this will actually, what you call close out this grant now,
Yes.
once this is expended, once this
I've already
check's
gotten the
in.
closeout letter from Department of
Right.
Local Government. They've already audited it. Everything's good. It's just the last payment.
Yeah.
So we're open to receive another CBD?
Yeah, we actually already have another CDBG
It's
grant
in, it's in the works, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, it's good. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Burger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2021-95. This is American Rescue Plan Act Consulting. American Rescue Plan Act State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund Expenditure Policy Resolution. A resolution adopting a policy for engaging financial and legal advice for the expenditure of American Rescue Plan Act State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, a policy for approving compliant and expenditures and repealing inconsistent resolutions. Whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky, duly organized pursuant to the laws of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and existing as a political subdivision of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, has received federal funds granted by the American Rescue Plan Act State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund. And whereas the governmental agency desires to engage Compass Municipal Advisors, LLC, and Stites and Harbison, PLLC, to provide professional, financial, and legal advice in the administration, planning, execution, expenditure, recordation, and reporting associated with the federal assistance received from the federal grant. And now therefore be it resolved by the fiscal court of the governmental agency as follows. The governmental agency hereby authorizes the engagement of Compass Municipal Advisors, LLC, and Stites Harbison, PLLC, for the provision of professional, financial, and legal advice in the administration, planning, execution, expenditure, recordation, and reporting associated with federal assistance for the governmental agency has or will receive from the federal grant in accordance with the terms and conditions reviewed and approved by the governmental agency's county attorney and/or judge executive. The governmental agency is adopting this resolution, states its determination that competitive procurement for the services to be provided by Stites and Compass is not feasible, and the engagement constitutes a contract for the services of licensed professionals. The engagement shall consist of the following payment terms. The county shall pay Stites for its legal and compliance advising services a fee equal to 0.75% of ARPA funds expended, or dispersed by the governmental agency in accordance with the policy. The state's fee shall be paid to states from the governmental agency's grant funds, and the governmental agency shall not be obligated to pay any fees to states for the engagement unless grant funds are dispersed. The county shall pay Compass for its financial, administrative, and fund management services a fee equal to 0.75% of ARPA funds expended or dispersed by the governmental agency in accordance with the policy. The Compass fee shall be paid to Compass from the governmental agency's grant funds, and the governmental agency shall not be obligated to pay any fees to Compass for the engagement unless grant funds are dispersed. Section 2. The governmental agency hereby adopts a policy of consultation with Compass and states as to compliance with the United States Department of Treasury's guidance on the grant expenditures and other applicable law prior to any expenditures of the grant funds, and of executing an expenditure approval form substantially in the form of Attachment A, attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference, for each and every expenditure of grant funds. Prior to any expenditure of grant funds, an expenditure approval form from time to time shall be executed, and the grant expenditures contained therein implemented by the county judge executive of the governmental agency without need to further approval of the governmental agency. The content of the expenditure approval form with respect to the Treasury legal grant expenditure compliance requirements shall also be approved by states as evidenced by its execution thereof. Section 3. States and/or Compass are hereby authorized to undertake and complete all filings of notices or information, and to take any actions which may be required by law to be prepared, filed, posted, recorded, and/or maintained by the governmental agency to satisfy the Treasury legal grant expenditure compliance requirements. Section 4. This resolution may be amended, but only for the purpose of adding to or modifying the details pertaining to the engagement and/or the policy, curing any ambiguity, correcting defects, or supplementing any ambiguous provision contained herein, or answering questions arising under this resolution. Section 5. If any one or more of the provisions of this resolution should be determined by a court of competent jurisdiction to be contrary to law, then such provisions shall be deemed to be severable from all remaining provisions and shall not affect the validity of such other provisions. Section 6. All prior resolutions or parts thereof inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Section 7. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption as provided by law. Section 8. The following attachments are hereby included and adopted as part of this resolution, which is Attachment A, the expenditure approval form, duly adopted at and recorded in the minutes of a properly constituted meeting of the governing body of the governmental agency held on the date set forth below. This time I need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-95, the American Rescue Plan Act Consulting.
I'd like to hear you read it again if you could. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2021-95. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? And we do have R.J. Palmer here with us today with Compass Financial Advisors. If the court has any kind of questions.
Well, I was just, on the attachment there was a couple of pages. I'm assuming that this is not a all-encompassing list of items that we can use those funds for. Is that correct, Judge?
That is the list from Treasury.
Right, as it stands right now?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, if we expend funds, we have to be able to identify which one of those applicable areas of usage is allowed.
Okay.
Do you look for the list abroad in any, or be buried in any way?
I don't.
This is basically gonna be what it's for.
Yeah, I do anticipate we'll get some additional guidance from Treasury as to how we can kind of fit things into some of those categories. But I don't think that will necessarily expand the number of categories.
As long as this document is complicated, I think it's very wise to ask for some assistance on this, and I think RJ and his company has a proven record of, they deal with all kinds of financial documents in the past, so I think it's wise to look for some help on this.
Have you seen other counties already executing some things off of this?
We have.
Yes. You know, one of the ones that is interesting to me is the broadband. There's the last mile projects, they've got a lot of that in there. And of course, you know, our broadband across the county is in horrible shape, so maybe we can use some of those funds for that, and we've got plenty of time.
It doesn't exist in
Yeah.
a lot of areas. Yeah, yeah,
It
it's
doesn't
non-existent.
It doesn't exist in town in
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
areas, so, we've got a lot of work there, so that's a good thing that we can do with it, but there's a lot of items. I mean, there's 2 pages worth of things that we can use those funds for, so.
That's correct.
Well, I think it's very important that we utilize this one-time opportunity to really leave a positive, lasting impression for our citizens, and having this type of help, making sure that we cross all of our T's and we dot all of our I's to make sure that we expend it in the appropriate manner, that we don't have an audit 2 or 3, 4, or 5 years down the road that says, you know, you didn't expend that money correctly. So I think this is very smart on behalf of our court and our team to get involved in.
So I'm assuming from reading this, Judge, that also that you'll be working with Glenna. You'll still be the one on hook to go to jail.
That's why I want the lawyers.
And we have been in contact with Glenna to try to get some of this started,
Yeah.
because we have a report due the 31st.
I completely support the fiscal court. I think it's a great idea.
Great. You wouldn't look good in orange.
Yeah. No.
We don't have rooms on. There
Thank
you go.
you, Steve. Thank you.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, any other questions? We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-95. Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thanks, RJ. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Next is Resolution 2021-96. This is an EMS board appointment. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County EMS board members, and whereas a vacancy on the EMS board is open, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Mark Ferris as fit for the position as a board member of the Madison County EMS Board of Directors. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Mark Ferris as a Madison County EMS board member. I need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-96.
So moved.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. And just for the court's information, this appointment actually expires on April 1st, 2022, because he's filling a vacancy of somebody that resigned from the board. So just remember in April when we go to recommend reappointment, it might be the same name. You all might remember that. So. Next, Resolution 2021-97. This is the Madison County 2021 ad valorem rates. A resolution to adopt Madison County 2021 ad valorem rates, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is legally required to adopt 2021 ad valorem rates in accordance with KRS 132.0225, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court desires to accept the compensating rate for real property, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court also desires to accept the tangible personal property and inventory rates set based on the compensating rate. And whereas the compensating rate formula for real property will be set at 7.6 cents per $100. And whereas the compensating rate formula for tangible personal property and inventory rates will be set at 9.5 cents per $100. And whereas the 2022 motor vehicle and watercraft property tax rate will be set at 10 cents per $100. Now therefore be it resolved, the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county. I need a motion and a second to approve resolution 2021-97.
Motion to approve resolution 2021-97, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, would you be kind enough to just tell everybody, we're taking the compensating rate here. Would you just explain to them what that means?
Yeah, so the compensating rate is figured on what the value of our county is overall, property values. And as property values increase, so assessments go up, typically the compensating rate goes down. And so an example of that would be last year, for every $1,000 that an individual paid in property taxes to the Madison County Sheriff's Department, because that's his role, is to collect taxes. If you wrote a check for $1,000 in property taxes, the county would have received $80 last year. This year, based off of increased property values, our rate is going to be $76 per $1,000 of pay. So our rate is actually going down. The compensating rate is figured based off it's compensating you for the total amount of money that you received in revenues the prior year. So it doesn't give you more revenues, it gives you the same.
Just wanted to point out in the fact that in fact, this is a tax decrease.
Yes.
Right. So that's the part that gets overlooked a lot of time when you just say the compensating rate, because folks don't understand the compensating.
Yeah.
But we're actually on a tax decrease this year.
Yep. And so you paid $80 last year per thousand. This year you're gonna pay $76 per thousand.
And Judge, the existing part of the $1,000 that's not taken out from the county, it's $76 out of $1,000. Goes to the health department, the library, the school, the ambulance, the extension office,
And the state.
and the state.
Yep. Yeah, that 1,000 is broken down and dispersed out amongst 7 different taxing districts. I mean, when you get your tax bill, there's the school, the state, the county, the health department, the ambulance, the library, and the extension.
And we control none of those other than just the fiscal court, which is 7.6.
Yeah, 7.6 cents, which equates to $76 per thousand. Yeah. Yeah. Is there any other questions about that, or should we, anybody have any of our team, did we explain that? Well, Taylor, you got it? Okay, all right.
We'll
Yeah.
see how it comes out in the final.
You're the most important one in here to make sure that you get it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only clarification I would make is make sure that's $76 out of 1,000 paid.
Paid.
Not 1,000 value. Okay.
Yeah. Our tax rate in Madison County is approximately 1%. So if you have a house that's worth $100,000 in assessed value, you're gonna pay about $1,000 in property tax. So of that $1,000 you paid, then the fiscal court gets $76. Yeah. The school gets the biggest portion. The state gets approximately $120 of that. And I'm not gonna go through the dollar bill that we've got that we share, but, because some of those rates change because of, again, compensating rate, right? Values, those rates change a little bit. Just like ours was $80 last year, it's gonna be $76 this year.
I think the school board receives about $640 out of 1,000.
Yeah, it's somewhere around in there, but I don't wanna state exactly what that is because I don't wanna be wrong. I mean, I know approximately what it is, but. Yeah.
It's also good to know, though, Judge, that by law, we could have had up to a 4% increase, correct?
Yes, by law, we could have increased it 4%, but even that 4% would have still been less than the $80 last year. It would have actually only been $79. And if we increased by the max we can increase without there being a recall, that 4% would only generate us extra revenue of approximately 150 to 160,000.
We're talking 0.4%, right, instead of 4%.
Well, it's 4% of our $76. It's not 4% of the overall bill. You know, your tax bill, which, you know, this is the problem with our property tax equation, is it's so complicated, you know, and we don't choose this. This is the state legislature, you know, had created this property tax calculation many years ago. And so it's very hard to understand. And I sympathize with taxpayers and residents that it's very hard to understand. But as overall values go up, our compensating rate goes down. Yep. So, any other questions or comments? It's good to see you here, Mr. Curry. Anything else? All right, seeing none, call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, thank y'all very much. Next is personnel. This is in the Judge Executive's office. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Alrighty. On behalf of the Judge's Office, I would like to propose the hire of Jill Williams as our part-time Public Relations Coordinator at a starting salary of $700 weekly with a start date of today, August 24th.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve Morgan's recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Can we get her to take a bow or something like that to the judge? We haven't, we might as well embarrass her from the first floor. Why not?
Get used to it.
Yeah. Thank you all very much. I'm excited for Jill's leadership. It's going to be great.
Would she like to give us a little background on her resume?
If she would like to, yeah. Would you, hey, drink from a fire hose, you might as well get started. Yeah.
I'd be a bad PR person if I couldn't, right?
Yeah.
I have spent about the last 15 years working in corporate PR and marketing. I'm an EKU grad. I'm a transplant here. I moved here and married somebody from here, so I have Madison County's home. I spent 10 years of that with Baptist Health, leading their marketing and branding and the transition from Patty A. Clay to Baptist Health. So that was a big portion of my career. So I've worked alongside a lot of community leaders and reporters and things like that over the course of time. So I look forward to getting to work with you all and really helping to communicate all the great work that you guys have been doing and the leadership for Madison County over the course of your time. So,
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you, Jill.
Nice to meet you.
Yep.
thank you.
One thing, Jill's been very active also just in the community. I mean, Chamber of Commerce, involved with PACA, involved with Pops at the Park. I mean, she's volunteered a lot of her time too, just has a wonderful civic duty as well, civic knowledge. So, all right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor? Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Next is a judge's report. Just a few announcements. Healthcare Heroes Appreciation Week began August the 22nd, so that began on Sunday. Our healthcare workers have worked diligently for 17 months to treat patients during the COVID surges. This has not been an easy task for them. They are tired and overworked. They're having to hold hands of sick individuals while watching them take their last breath. They're being called healthcare heroes because they continue to work every day and night trying to save as many COVID patients as possible. Thank you so much to each and every one of those heroes for everything that they are doing to keep our community healthy and safe. I would encourage any of you all, everybody in here knows somebody that's in the healthcare world. It's a nurse, a doctor, that is helping keep our constituents, families, friends safe across the United States. So I would encourage, I think it's great to recognize those during this week for all their hard work. So I would encourage you all to thank them. If you got family members, whoever, if you see them, somebody in what do they call their nurses? Scrubs. I was wanting to say scrunchies, but that's a hair thing. Scrubs. I mean, just go ahead and take the initiative to be kind and thank them for their service. So, shout out to the Richmond Fire Department for receiving a letter from PETA recognizing their efforts in removing a cat that was stuck in the engine compartment of a car. They also helped remove a hamster that had crawled into the dash of a car. And then Bo Tate located Topaz. I guess that's the name of the turtle. It was a missing tortoise on his family farm that had, and I heard this story, and I wish Bo Chief was here, and you might know it, but it was pretty amazing that this turtle had gotten away from its home and like traveled. It was a pretty good distance, wasn't it?
7 or 8 miles.
7 or 8 miles till.
At turtle speed.
Yeah.
On its own, it gets transported a little bit.
But he was mowing hay or something, wasn't he? And
Got caught in the middle of his family. He turned around because they came home, and then he saw something underneath it, and he was like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
And then he backed it up, and they returned it.
Yeah. Well, it was good. Kudos to you guys, Chief, and your team. Please know that we recognize y'all's hard work and due diligence.
And you said Richmond Fire Department.
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing we've got somebody starting PR in it.
His notes do not say Richmond.
No, they don't. Did I really say Richmond?
You did.
I'm sorry. It's Madison County. It's Madison County Fire Department, Chief. I know we all work well together and help each other, but this was a Madison County Fire Department initiative, and it really is good. I mean, PETA stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. And this is a nationwide organization, and the president of this organization actually sent our fire department, Madison County Fire Department, a letter thanking them for their service, and I think it was worth recognizing you all and honoring you all for your service today.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you, and sorry I said Richmond. I also want to give a shout out to Philip Seifert for being recognized by the Richmond Register as a community unsung hero in the category of veteran services. Please stop by the Battle of Richmond Visitor Center to congratulate him and check out the great exhibits while you are there. There have been some community events that are coming up that have been canceled, so I want to make mention of those. The Battle of Richmond Civil War reenactment scheduled for August 28th and August 29th has been canceled. The Hope Swings Evening of Hope scheduled for Friday, August 27th has been canceled. The Patty A. Clay Auxiliary Charity Ball, also known as PACA Ball, is scheduled for September the 11th. It has been canceled. Whitehall State Shrine's Golden Anniversary Celebration, scheduled for Friday, September 17th, has been canceled. A few announcements of events that are coming up are Kids Fest will be Saturday, September the 11th at 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Irving McDowell Park. The Spoon Bread Festival, which is Berea Spoon Bread Festival, will be on September 17th, 18th, and 19th. Contact the Berea Chamber of Commerce for more information. Also, Richmond's first Millstone Festival will be Saturday, October the 9th. Contact Richmond Parks and Recreation for more information. And then last but not least, the Madison County Courthouse and its related offices will be closed on Monday, September the 6th for the Labor Day holiday. Our offices will reopen on Tuesday, September the 7th at 8 a.m. And I hope I didn't missay anything there. That's the end of the judge's report. Next, we have comments from magistrates. Tom?
Just a couple things, Judge. You and I, we got the opportunity to go out Sunday to the dedication of the Milford historical marker out on Goggins Lane and Barnes Mill, and that was a really good event. It's good to know what the history is of that. You know, Milford, for the most part, doesn't exist today, but that was where the original county seat was at in Madison County. And it was just, that's a lot of good history involved in that. And Tom Black, he done a lot of good work out there with the research on that. We certainly appreciate all that. And then I've had a couple of phone calls here recently about the guardrails being damaged over at the intersection of 499 and US 25. And I've reached out to the state and contacted their person in charge of that, to which he informed me that they have 5 crews that go around the state and repair guardrails, of which at this point in time, they have 2. They don't have anybody to work. So they do know about that. It is scheduled for repair, and I guess since that original one was done across the intersection on the other side, the other one was hit and damaged. So those are on their working list, but it's just gonna take them time. You've got 2 crews doing them all. So, so it's just gonna take them a while to get to that, but they will. And, again, Scott, we appreciate you guys down at the road department. I call you all the time, and I appreciate your response in taking care of that. And, we just thank you. Judge, if anybody needs me, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Thanks, Tom. John?
Not a lot this morning, Judge. I've been working with the state road department because I found out the signs were needed on state roads for school bus stops. I've had a couple of parents and grandmothers call me about their grandkids loading out on busy roads and trying to get some school bus stop signs to alert people to slow down a little bit and keep their children safe. Scott informed me this morning that the litter abatement program is going to start up again October the 15th, and you and I talked about it yesterday, and I'm going to try to, after that starts up, sometime in that time period, organize a trash pickup in the Waco neighborhood out there and get some volunteers to come in and maybe furnish lunch for them or something.
Yep.
They'll come in and help pick up some trash in the Waco area out there, so I'm working with that, so
Yep.
look forward to that.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Raj?
I don't have much, Judge. As I've always said, all of our departments don't get enough recognition for what they do behind the scenes. They make us look good and don't get any of the appreciation a lot of times. But when I go to the different departments, they're always courteous to me as well as everybody else. Try to answer my questions. The road department down there, and these guys knows it. You know, when they go out and do something, we get the thank you for it. They don't. And but I want to let you know that I appreciate everybody behind the scenes. Appreciate you all.
Thanks, Raj. Kenny?
Don't have anything.
You good?
No, that's.
Sure. You good? All right. Thank you all for being here. Comments from department heads. Do we have anything today? Scott?
Share a few dates.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
It's a little early, but I want to get everybody thinking about it. We're gonna have 3 big events in October, and kind of throw the dates out there so y'all can be spreading them. But October the 2nd is gonna be our annual Household Hazardous Waste event. And that will be at 208 Clarksville Lane. That'll be from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. This is the time you can bring any type of pesticides, oil-based paints, mercury thermometers, anything that you normally can't throw in your daily trash, we will accept it on that day. And it'll be
TVs?
free of charge.
And TVs, one of them?
TVs, electronics, anything that you're having trouble disposing, just bring it to us and we'll figure out what to do with it that day.
I was amazed last year, Scott, how many electronics.
Yeah, we set a record last year.
I mean, we had dump trucks full of electronics
Yeah,
and
we had 3 dump trucks full
TVs.
of electronics.
I just couldn't believe it when I went out there and saw all those electronics.
Yeah, we let Judge help us load them for about a couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plenty of items last year. We actually set a money record too. I think it ended up costing us very little, but this year I was able to ask for more in the grant. So we actually got granted the whole amount this year of what we had to spend last year. So I think we got approved for $35,000. Back to back, the next weekend, of course, like I mentioned, will be the waste tire collection. So that's gonna run Thursday the 7th, Friday the 8th, and Saturday the 9th. And then the following Saturday, on October the 16th, we're having the river sweep. And that's where we invite all volunteers out. We will be picking up trash along Kentucky River from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And after we get done with the trash collection, we will have a cookout for everybody. And we'll conclude whenever everybody's finished eating.
Is that Boonesboro?
That is at Boonesboro, yes.
Yeah. And it's a county partnership, isn't it, with Clark County and
It is,
and
yes.
Madison County, and typically In the past, Judge Pace and Mayor Bertner and I have cooked
Yeah.
hamburgers and stuff.
We're
for
expecting
everybody.
again this year.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
The next date, John was a little off, but the fall litter abatement program, that starts September the 15th through October 31st. And that is money that we get from the state. We have civic organizations to pick up certain mileage of roads. They get paid an amount for that, and then we go collect the litter when they're finished. So just, if you see people out with yellow vest on, just be careful, slow down for them. And like I say, that'll be September 15th through October 31st. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Appreciate it. Anybody else? Any other department heads? Comments from the audience? Anybody? All right. Next is, I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Our next fiscal court meeting will be September the 14th, 2021. That is the first meeting of every odd month, so we are in Berea. Our next fiscal court meeting will be at Berea on September the 14th, 2021 at 9:30. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buck?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Brooke, good to see you.